Hey, Fiona Whitten from Oakville Crafts here. Hi. Apologies for being a little bit late. Facebook seems to have been doing and playing silly so-and-sos yet again. So I had problems actually going live with my phone. Hopefully, I don't even know if this is straight now. I'm hoping it is. My problem is, I've got some new glasses and everything looks on the wonk at the moment. But hey, right, I'm going to go with this, see how it goes. Hopefully, you can at least see what I am doing. So today is a stamping and creating day. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Fiona Whitten and I am an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator based in Wokingham in Berkshire. I go live on Facebook every Wednesday afternoon, and twice a month it's card and a cuppa, or a virtual card and a cuppa, and the rest of the Wednesdays it's what I call stamping and creating. So basically I have something to share with you, and I'll show you how to make it if you want to give it a go yourself. Let me just bear with me 2 seconds. I just need to make sure that this is actually going out live, because I really don't know at the moment. I'm hoping it is. As I said, I don't know what my phone's doing. It's like being really silly. But hey, yeah, it looks like I am, which is good. So that's all I need. All right, okay, so Monday mornings I usually do what I call a craft and chat with members of the Acorns. And I come up with a fun fold, or something, not always a fun fold. And then we sit and I talk them through it, and they make whilst we're chatting. Sometimes actually it's me that's doing all the chatting because I'm the one giving the instructions. But anyway, so Monday we made this card. Now I've seen these on the internet, and I decided actually I was going to change mine out slightly. So some of them that you see, this piece here folds, it opens out, and I'll show you one that I've made that way. But this is what we made on Monday, so it was a lot easier. So it's this is actually 3 pieces of card and then paper, sorry, and then another piece. And then the idea is that this is actually a looks like a triangle, but it's actually quite neat. And then this is raised up on dimensionals, and I have a little inside. I've just put a strip of paper as well. So that was what I made beforehand, and then this was the one that I made when we were all crafting. So this one's using, obviously it's a Christmas one, made exactly the same way as that, other than the fact that for this one the panel is glued directly to the front and not put on dimensionals. And obviously it's just decorated how I wanted to. So everybody's always turns out different. Now this is what you will quite often see on the, if you're looking at other videos and things on the internet. And quite often people have them just basically as a single piece of card. But I actually wanted to make mine into a proper card that would stand up. So as you can see, this will stand up. And the idea is that the flap at the top will fold up, and the flap at the bottom will fold down. So I can kind of see why people would want them just like that on a single piece of card. But actually, I don't know about you, I don't have a mantelpiece or anywhere like that I could actually display that. So I would rather have it so that I can stand it up, and then I just know that there is a sentiment inside. And then, as I said, this is just a straightforward card base. So those are the 3 samples that I have to share with you. and I will take photos of them, and I will put them up on Facebook. But I'm going to share how to make this. Well, they're all made the same way at the end of the day. It just depends on whether you want to glue your flaps, the flaps down or not. So I'm going to make a slight variation on this one. And to do that, I'm going to use the A Walk in the Park, sorry, not A Walk in the Park, A Walk in the Forest paper. You may have seen that this paper is part of Stampin' Up's Give Back. So for every pack of papers sold, they are donating £2.50 to the Salvation Army here in the UK. So it's the 12 by 12 pack. It's 6 double-sided designs. Let's see, let's just try and get these so they're in kind of some vague order. Right, okay, so I can just run through them. So, so we have berries, pine fronds and things, and then other pine fronds, Christmas trees. So let's face it, can't be Christmas paper without some Christmas trees. And then we have some snowflakes on the other side. This one is green Christmas trees this time. And then on the other side, we have stripes. So we have balmy blue, pretty peacock, garden green, and old olive are the colours that I want to say. You know what? Rather than give you some duff information, let's actually double check. So when you get paper, it'll always show on the back a list of the colours. So this is balmy blue, cherry cobbler, garden green, old olive, pecan pie, and pretty peacock. But there are some other blues in here because I really think sometimes they don't list everything. So here we've got fir cones, mistletoe, red and some red berries, and then this paper. So we have trees. We also have bears. You can't see all the bears. I have to put. Actually, no, that one's okay because that one we haven't cut every single one out because we were doing some prep for my card and the cuppa kits for October. So we have trees and bears, and on the reverse side we've got some green trees. And then the last sheet is other sized bears and different trees and snowflakes. And then on the reverse side is cherry cobbler and garden green stripes. So I'm going to be using, well, I'm not going to be using this paper, obviously. I'm not going to get a card front out of that. So I'm going to use these trees. And I'm going to use the reverse side too. So let's move that out of the way. So that's the paper I'm going to use. And I've got balmy blue and Misty Moonlight. Let's have a look here, see which ones look, how will it look? I think I'm going to go for the Misty Moonlight because it's slightly darker and it will show the paper slightly better. So that's it, I've chosen those. I've got some basic white because I will need that too. And let's start with cutting. So you need to create a standard sized card base. So here in the UK where we use metric, I have a sheet of A4 which I'm cutting on the long side at, well, I cut mine at 14.85. Most people cut theirs at 14.9. So I'm simply doing that and then turning it and scoring at 10.5 centimetres. So that creates the card base. think that's pretty straightforward. Next, I'm going to cut the paper. So I want to have the paper slightly narrower than the base card. So this is 10.5 across. So I'm going to cut it at 10. And then similarly, I want to have it slightly shorter than, this is 14.85, 14.9. So I'm going to cut it so that it is 14.4. So that will be the paper, I should say, that will eventually get glued onto the card front. Not yet, but this is sort of our starting point. Next, I'm going to use, because I want to use the snowflakey bits. So the snowflakes are going to create these pieces. So again, I need it to be, and this is where I've lost the plot because my instructions have gone walkabouts. Excuse me for a minute. It's on the floor. There we go. So I need to cut two pieces which are 10 centimetres wide by 9 centimetres from the top to the bottom. So 10 by 9, which is fine. So I've got one piece. This is not going to be quite big enough. So I need to cut another width of 10. Let's do it this way. 10 by 9. That's that. And then I'm going to put a piece on the inside as well. So I'm just going to cut a strip that is 1.5 centimetres wide. You don't need to write all the measurements down. When I upload all this to YouTube, the description will always contain the cutting instructions. So all the measurements that you will need for that. So that's that bit. I need some basic white for the inside of my card. So I need that to be, again, the same size as that panel that I cut for the front of the card. So that's 10 by 14.4. And in fact, I can cut that down to 14.4 because I'm going to cut it to 14.5 actually, just in case. So I know it's going to be the right thing. And then the last thing I need to cut are a couple of panels and some more paper. So at the moment we have cut the base card. So this is what we've cut so far. The base card, the panel, and these two panels for the top and bottom, the inside and that strip. So what I now need to do is I need to cut the panel and the paper for here, and the panel and either cardstock or paper for here. Haven't quite made up my mind yet, but I need to cut these two panels here and here are going to be exactly the same size, which makes it easy, or easier I should say. So I need to cut two panels, both of which will be 7 by 11.4. So if I do, let's try to figure out which way. Let's cut that at 10.5. Is that going to work? 10.5. No, let's just go 11.4, and then I know for certain that I should have enough. So that's going to be 7. And then I need another one that is 7 centimetres wide. So that's two lots of 7 by 11.4. And then I'm going to go back. Now, I don't think that's going to fit, plus the fact the paper's the wrong way round. So this time I need to cut some paper. Let's see, which way does that go? That'd be fine. So this is where you need to be careful to make sure that you are cutting your paper so that your images are the right way round. So this needs to be 6.5 wide. By 10.9. I don't know if that's going to be, oh, that will be just, I can get away with that. Right, but let's cut a white piece as well, just in case. So I wanted it 6.5 by 11 point, by 10.9. Okay, so that's fine. 6.5, and then I can change my mind if I want to. 10.9. Oh, this is going to be a tiny little slither. That's one thing I love about these trimmers, is that the blades are so good that you can actually cut off the smallest amount, which is really nice. Right, so I have, I think, just about cut everything. So let's bring that all back in. Work my way through it just to make sure. So we have the base card, we have the piece of white, basic white, that will go on the inside, and the paper for that. So that's that. We have, this is the front of the card, and these two pieces are going to be the bits that will go top and bottom. So just one more bit that I need to do, and that's a little bit of scoring on these two pieces. Now, my two pieces are non-directional because I'm using the side with the snowflakes. If you do have directional, then you want to make sure when you're scoring that for the piece that goes on the top, up here, that you score at the top, and for the piece that you want to go on the bottom, you score from the bottom. And basically, you're just simply going to take take it 3 centimeters and score. So you've got your 10 centimeters wide. So on the 9 centimeters side, you are going to score at 3 centimeters. Remember that the scoring blade is the lighter of the two. You don't want to be cutting through your paper. So that's that. So the first thing we're going to do with these two pieces, that we're going to fold. So with the good side, shall I say, with the side that you don't want to see, you're going to fold down that score line and give it a really good burnish. You're going to do that on both of those, like so. And then you're going to open them up again. And then to create your point, you can do it one of two ways. Well, actually, you can do it one of 3 ways if you want to. You can measure halfway along the bottom and then cut. I'm not overly keen on that. Or you can measure and then use something to fold. But I'm just simply going to fold that bottom corner up to that score line. So you just need to make sure that you are as square as possible to that score line. And give it a good burnish. And then you're going to do that with the other side. Now hopefully, if your cutting is good, when you turn it over, you shouldn't be able to see that there are 2 layers there. And then you just need, because I'm going to be able to open the card and see under the flaps, I'm just going to glue down the flap. If you were just making so you can see on these, I've glued them down to make them look a bit neater. Whereas on the other cards, which I do with these sometimes, these ones, the fold is underneath here, so you can't actually see it. So it doesn't really matter too much. But I quite like using the whole paper and folding it because it gives you a really nice, neat edge. I don't trust myself when it comes to cutting sometimes. So we've got that one, and you're going to do exactly the same with the other piece. So you've folded over that on that score line, and then you're simply again going to fold up or to the score line, that bottom corner, and then you're going to fold up the other bottom corner. And try and get the point as close as you can to that where that score line is. Give them a good burnish, turn it over and check. I see something's not quite right there. Let's see how that is. That'll be better. You do want to make sure that you're not going over that score line. Right. So there we go. So those are my two pieces, and again I need to quickly glue that bit down. So that's that. Okay, so I now have my front panel and I have 2 points. So this point will get glued behind like that, and that point will get glued behind like that. So that's what we're going to do next. So we're going to put glue on the side that you don't want to see the pattern paper, which is basically the same as what's the big panel. And then you're going to line up the paper so that it's square and hopefully up as far as you can against that score line, but not so that you can't actually fold that paper over. If you do go over the score line, then it will cause a problem and you're not going to be able to fold it over neatly. So we're doing exactly the same with the second piece. It doesn't matter if you do top first or bottom first. It really makes no difference. And again, just make sure that it's all square down the edges because you don't want to be seeing pieces there. So that is that piece. We're then going to glue the paper to that panel. And I'm having this the bit on the front so that it matches the main panel on the card. You could have a third piece, or you could have it as white and just stamp or embossed or whatever it is that you... Oh dear, it's really not my day today. I cut some card this morning because I got these new glasses on. I think it's going to take me a little while to adapt to them. There's slightly different prescriptions than I had before, and everything looks like it's going in. I hope it's really not. Oh dear, that's not going to work properly. Oh, well, close enough. Right, okay. So this piece, you're going to fix just to the top panel, but you want to make sure that the card, top and bottom, just the corner of the panel is right on the edge of the top and bottom triangular pieces. Now remember, you're only going to glue onto that top piece. So first off, make sure that you are just gluing that piece, and then you want to simply put a little bit of glue on the triangle, and using wet glue for this is probably better than using tape, simply because you do have a little bit of wiggle room still, so you can move things about slightly. This is why I hope I haven't actually glued it to the inside. No! Well, that definitely does not look straight to me. And it's not. Now, this is when you can see how square everything is that you've cut. Hopefully that's a bit better. It's still not brilliant. As I said, I don't know if it's my cutting or my eyesight, but hey. Right, so that's that piece finished. So this can now get glued onto the card front. I'm going to do that. Like so. I'm going to quickly glue this together and stick it inside the card, because then I know I'm not going to lose it. I was going to use the snowflakey side, but hey, probably gone and glued that side. Don't like having those raised edges. I'm just going to trim that. It's always better to have something that's slightly too long than have something that's too short and doesn't fit. Well, it will fit, but it won't look right. So a bit more glue to go on the inside. Bring that back, move that little sticky bit out the way. Right, that's that. Okay, right, so we need a sentiment on the front, which we'll sort out in a minute. Now, the decision now is what to do on the inside. So I have my piece of Misty Moonlight, which is the same colour as the bit on the front. Now I could put some basic white on there and simply stamp, or I could put some paper on there. I quite like doing both. So let's trim off some from here slightly. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this piece to create an area where you can add a gift card. Well, I did cut. I thought I had. Right, let's go. Move a little bit off here. Well, that's a bit better. So I'm going to glue those 3 together. So that piece can go in there. This piece can go on there. Like so. Okay. Now you could create something to hold gift card. Right, okay, I'm just going to use my AA card. So you could put a little band on there or anything that you want. But I will show you what I'm going to do. First off, I'm going to put this actually inside the card. And you want to make sure that it's hidden by this piece. You don't really want to have it sort of down here where you could see it by mistake. So the trick is to open up the card, place the piece that is to go in the middle on top of there. But before you do that, if you add some glue to it, and before you place it, you also want to make sure that this is the right way round. Obviously, for me, it doesn't matter simply because mine's non-directional. And then you're just literally going to making sure that that has stayed where it should do. Close the card or close the card over. So that when you turn it around, you can't see it. So that will be up there like that. And that will be all folded down like that. Obviously, you need to put a sentiment or something else on there. And what I'm actually going to do, now if you're making these to sell, then what I suggest you do, and I've almost finished all my glue dots, so there's one here, is use glue dots, but leave them on their backing. So you know, and just put like one towards the top and one towards the bottom. So you just need to find the next one that's there. Well, see, I don't have very many left anyway. Make sure there's none on there. Obviously, if you're making these to give, then it doesn't really matter. You can just simply put them on, peel off the backing, and then adhere the glue. There we go. Adhere the actual gift card to it. So my gift card's going to go on there, like that. That's going to go up there. That's going to go up there. So there's that. So as I said, I need to do a sentiment. So gift card. Let's move all that out the way. Now, do I want to do a sentiment? I could do a bear. Let's see now. I'll try and find a bear that I can cut out. Maybe I won't. What else have we got? Double make sure. Nope. Okay, right, we're not going there then. So I will do a sentiment. Now I did actually bring some stamps out. I don't have the stamp set and the punch, because the punch that will punch out one of the bears. I don't have that, but I do have. So this was one of the sets from last year called The Brightest Glow. So I'm going to use the All Is Merry and Bright. A piece of white. this in Misty Moonlight, and then I'm going to die cut it. So let's see. Stamp that. And then I'm going to use, there should be a nice circle die in here. There it is. It has little dots and holes around it, so I'm going to use that to die cut. So I've got my mini Stampin' Boss machine here. Try not to make too much of a, not so much a mess, but shake it all around and everything. So I love these machines because the plates actually tell you what sandwich to use. So if I'm using a die, which I am, so it says place cutting, use plate 1, which is this one, and then you use a plate 2, which is the clear one, and then you place your cardstock and your die on that clear plate. Oops. If you don't feel comfortable with it just running it through like that, then use a sticky note or something, and then you're going to put the second clear plate on top and simply run it through. Ooh. Let's take that off. So as you can see, it's put all the holes and things in there. So I'm going to add that with some dimensionals. Like so. In the centre, I think, like that, and then add some rhinestones or whatever it is that you have to hand. Actually, I've got some iridescent rhinestones, so I think I'm going to use those. I'm just going to use my take your pick tool to pick them up. I'm going to put one on here. And then just put a few more. I always tell people not to think about it, and then I promptly go around thinking about it myself. And then you decide that actually you don't quite like where you've put them, but hey, I think. Right then, so that is that card finished. So you can, as I said, you can send it with everything stuck down. You can create a gift card holder. You could, in fact, actually just make a pocket with some paper onto the cardstock. Just make sure that you've got enough. You put in a little place so you can slide it out. And then inside, it's obviously then free for you to write whatever greeting, note, update. And Christmas always seems to be the time of year when everybody goes mad all of a sudden. You haven't heard from someone for ages, and then they send you this long letter of everything that's happened through the year, which is lovely. But sometimes it's like, okay, right. So those are, what should I just say? Let's just do these two first. So that was straightforward. Just put a sentiment in. That was, let's create and make it into a gift card holder. So there was just simply a couple of glue dots behind there. Nice and simple. So that's those two. And then these two are the ones that I originally made, where didn't actually leave these two pieces loose, so they're both glued down. Actually, to be honest, they've only got glue dots holding them down, but then this piece is glued directly to the card front, and then this piece is added using dimensionals. So you can do any combination of these. It's really up to you. Obviously, huge difference depending on paper you use as well. So, you know, I hope you give it a try. Next week is a card and a cuppa week, so we'll be over at Home Grange because it's the first card and a cuppa for October, and I will be live here at 2:30. Trying to think what else. Tomorrow, what is tomorrow? 28th tomorrow. Tomorrow is last day if you want to put in an order and have it delivered to me for collection. That way you don't have to pay any P&P. And also it's the last day to sign up for October's Stamper Stack. So I think that is it, really. So have a good week, and I hope to see you again next week. Take care. Bye.